that's that. You may be wondering what the hell all this crap is behind me. And these are actually some of my prototypes. And part of what I'm going to be talking about while I show you guys these prototypes is just kind of, in my first video I mentioned I was going to be kind of calling out different copycats, or just the copycat culture in general. You know, I'm not afraid of competition. I wouldn't be showing you guys all of this stuff if I was afraid of that. I don't like when people aren't thinking. If I see that you're trying to improve something, or you're trying to create something and you are actually thinking, message me up. I will tell you everything I know. But I want to help you guys recognize what you're doing when you choose to spend money with them instead of someone like me. You know, they're looking at this as a profit thing, and they go, oh man, I could 3D print this and undercut this guy and post it for, you know, 1/3 of the cost, and I'll be happy, right? Is what they're saying. And that's okay. But is what you as a customer needs to recognize is that money is going to, you know, some mustache oil for these little these little dweebs. And when you spend your money with me, I'm going to invest it in trying to solve problems, trying to invent new technologies and products that save lives, that pull contaminants out of the air and make workspaces safer and keep areas cleaner, keep customers happy, and make you or your workers' lives at, you know, doing these tasks much more enjoyable and more efficient. And that's the biggest reason when you see a product, think about where that money's going to go after they make the sale. And I'm going to be showing you guys some of the prototypes here and just talking about them a little bit. So I guess I'll do that. Okay, let's start with this one here. Now this one is the one I had mentioned I made twice, so I've got 2 of these. Let's transfer this mic. So I've got 2 of these, and I still have the prototype that this was kind of the 3.0 first one that worked. This was a revision of that to make it smaller and to make it easier to use. And this is ultimately designed to be ran on a separation device. And let me show you guys some pictures here so you can visualize what I'm talking about with me. And so here is kind of the original drawing of this thing. And then this is what I'm talking about with a separation device. So basically, this vacuum was actually originally focused towards vacuum excavation, and I was using this personally in my company for job site cleanup and also repairing sprinkler systems. I would suck out the valve boxes with this. And basically we've got 2 aluminum cyclones here that are for the dust. And getting the mic cord tangled. So they're for the dust, and this system is ultimately modeled off of a vacuum excavation truck, is where I was kind of working on inspiration for this. And you're basically getting your suction here, and that's where the hose goes. And then you head into your dust cyclones. And this is a kind of a port to check and clear clogs. And once all your main debris are removed in that barrel, the rock and the dirt, you get your dust coming through the cyclones here, and that's your chamber, and it cleans out pretty easy. Just, you know, a lot of times I'm using this outside to do sprinklers, so you're just dumping that right onto the ground when you need to clear it up. And this system works really well. However, the way it's fashioned to this board is kind of unprofessional. It's down and dirty, gets the job done, but that's it. And the way you empty the cyclones, that's great. This method is the best one I've found for kind of DIY style, because it's just efficient. These threads get filled up with dirt, and the suction actually tightens this, and you'll get these eventually stuck. So you want to stay away from any sort of threads. So that works good for that. But the biggest problem with this thing is the filter chamber here. And there's really no problems with it other than it's kind of difficult to change it out or clean it. And it's only a filter. And I've found you want to be running a bag and a filter. That way you are never down. You always have suction if you have a bag in there that you can always replace once it gets full. So these were some of the things I was discovering was, flaws with this thing. And from here is where I set off and started building the other prototype, and that's where I also focused my efforts towards a more shop vac oriented vacuum, because I know I'm going to have more customers there, and once I can obtain those customers' money, I will expand my company into mobile vacuum excavation units, as well as the developments in the home vacuum and construction sector. And then I also want to do some different products that use vacuum. And then I'm also trying to develop a briefcase vacuum for, say, a handyman or a cleaning company. You could go in with this and use it to clean a house basically, and it'd be lightweight and easy to use with your workers. And so let's go take a look at that one. And it is over here, and this is an incomplete prototype. It works, but obviously it needs a lot of critiquing and changing. But I mean, we got a scrub brush taped to the top of this for the handle, and then the bottom of our main cyclone here, the main chamber, has got the threaded plug. This was before I discovered the, oh, I think those are test plugs or something, the red one. But these are two 18-volt motors, and this will run on an 18-volt drill battery, and we can also offer this in 20-volt as well. But you know, same thing with this. We've got some issues with the dynamics of the flow and the type of dynamics these motors apply to the flow, and kind of the parts I'm using. I've got just one of these aluminum cyclones, and it just didn't quite roll like I was hoping, and maybe the filter was part of the issue. However, this little compact design would be inside of a little briefcase, basically, with a shoulder strap. And so that is just kind of another product and inspiration I've had and kind of gone down the rabbit hole with. This is also a cool little unit, and this is under development to be in conjunction with the main cyclone, because this filters out a substantial amount of debris and fine dust, but you're gonna have stuff traveling over. But for now and always, we will be sending it into a bag in the motor tube. However, at some point with development, we'll have one of these on here as well, and you'll basically be able to filter out even more dust, and that's what we get excited about. So this thing, I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about, and why I mentioned it was so special. So the biggest problem I have with vacuums, oh, and we'll check this thing out in a second. The biggest problem I have is they do great at sucking up dust, right? Making your environment better, helping the air be cleaner. But guess what? You gotta empty a vacuum. And that's where the fatal flaw of every company's vacuum is, even Dyson's vacuum. And I understand Dyson's stance on trying to create less waste, but if waste is being created to preserve human health and life, then it needs to be utilized. And short story long here, when you empty a vacuum, dust wafts into the air, gets everywhere. And then if you do it into a garbage can that isn't ready to be dumped, every time you throw something in that garbage can, it's then wafting back out. This dust needs to be captured and not released again. And so the thing this vacuum is going to be doing is it's going to have a sealed disposal method, and we're going to be putting tube bags on this so that you can just and create that sealed tube of dust to just throw away safely and keep your air clean, which is the whole reason you sucked the dust up in the first place. So also, let's take a look at this. This thing is not glued together. Oh, isn't that sick? All right, I'll also show you guys this. Pop this out. And so that is the diameter, okay, at the bottom of this cyclone. And the reason it's this large is because I want this vacuum to handle debris. And that is the other ultra special part about this that I'm not going to be able to show you guys yet. I will eventually have to show it so that you want to buy it even more. But this is going to have an automated dumping system that allows for debris to pass through into the tube bag, and that's not a thing. These other vacuums you're seeing with cyclones are for dust and potentially chip, but most of the time dust, which vacuums, the dust is only a small part of what that's getting sucked up with a vacuum. So